Welcome to News9 Mediaverse, and you are watching On Point with me. I have 9 on points or 9 top stories for you, but let me begin with the first on point. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's biggest interview with TV9 Network. PM took the Congress to cleaners on vote bank politics in Wayanad. An exclusive conversation with 5 editors.
प्रधानमंत्री एंड 5 एडिटर्स राउंड टेबल इंटरव्यू।
एक मैं आज पत्ता खोल देता हूं। मेरे मन में तो सवाल है कि और क्या वायनाड में सौदा हुआ है क्या?
देश के नंबर 1 न्यूज नेटवर्क पर प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी।
मैं जानता हूं कि आपका नेटवर्क बहुत बड़ा है, आपका दर्शक संख्या भी बहुत बड़ी है, ये भी मुझे पता है। आपका डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म भी बहुत बड़ा है। मैं जब विदेश जाता हूँ तो मुझे रेफरेंस कहीं चाहिए, तो मैं कभी इमीडिएट कहीं जाना है तो मैं आपके डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पे जाता हूँ।
महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटक, तेलंगाना, गुजरात और पश्चिम बंगाल समेत पूरे भारतवर्ष से प्रधानमंत्री का संवाद। प्रधानमंत्री एंड 5 एडिटर्स राउंड टेबल इंटरव्यू देखें आज रात 8 बजे।
And you can watch this interview live on News9 Live at 8 p.m. with 5 editors. More than 1.5 hours. Exclusive conversation with our editors on range of issues, host of issues. It's not a Lutyens interview. It's an interview which will take you to Karnataka, Telangana, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Bengal, national issues. In this interview, let me just give you a glimpse. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his candid conversation with 5 editor panel, I would say it's the biggest and the boldest interview of this election season. The Prime Minister spoke on a variety of subjects and addressed some crucial issues in midst of the heated poll season. The Prime Minister questioned Rahul Gandhi and Congress on striking a deal with the minority community in Wayanad. He further probed if Congress has promised reservations in exchange for votes. The Prime Minister charged Congress with wanting to give the Dalit, ST and SC and OBC reservations to Muslims. He also pointed out that the Constitution does not recognize religion-based reservation and accused the Congress party of indulging in vote bank politics. Let's listen in.
मेरे मन में तो सवाल है जी, और मैं तो मीडिया के लोगों को कहता हूँ, खोजिए क्या वायनाड में सौदा हुआ है क्या? मेरे मन में क्वेश्चन है, क्या वायनाड में सौदा हुआ है क्या कि आपको मुसलमानों को रिजर्वेशन में हिस्सा दिया जाएगा, बदले में वायनाड जिताओ? क्या ऐसा सौदा हुआ है क्या? बदले में देश में चुनाव जिताओ? क्या ऐसा सौदा हुआ है क्या? देश जानना चाहता है। और आज खेल क्या चल रहा है? आज खेल ये चल रहा है, SC, ST, OBC के जो संविधान में आरक्षण मिला हुआ है, उस आरक्षण को छीनने का तरीका ढूंढा जा रहा है और वो धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण देना चाहता है। जब संविधान बना, महीनों तक चर्चा हुई, देश के विद्वानों ने चर्चा की कि धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण दे सकते हैं क्या, और सबने सहमति बनी कि धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण नहीं दे सकते हैं। और बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर का तो बड़ा विद्वत्तापूर्ण उसमें बयान है। सबने बहुत सुविचारित मत रहा है देश में कि हमारे देश में धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण नहीं देना चाहिए। ये धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण देने पर टूटे क्यों? वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स।
So the Prime Minister talking about vote bank politics. On this issue, I'm joined by Ajit Keja, senior journalist, Sunita Aaron, Bhanu Chandra Nagarajan, and studio my input editor Brijesh Pandey. Thank you all of you for joining me on the show. You know, this is one teaser I have given you. Let me straight away go to Sunita. Sunita, Prime Minister has really made an issue on, Rahul Gandhi when it comes to reservations for Muslims, and he is now connecting it with Wayanad. What's the big play?
What's the big play? I think, it's a very, when the Prime Minister says something, you have to take it very seriously. and every word makes sense, every word is important. Having said so, I think the entire discourse is now on Hindu-Muslim. Maybe because some cracks, there was some discussion about constitution, which some of the rabble-rousers of the BJP were raising in various meetings. After that, Prime Minister made it very clear that they are not going to make any amendment in the constitution. The reservation is going to stay. But he realized the seriousness. Mohan Bhagwat, RSS chief, also came and he spoke about that. Now the same issue is giving back to the Congress because there is a history to it. In Andhra, they did give 4% quota to Muslims, and it's a fact that the constitution does not allow that. So now it's all becoming, I think if you look at the people in general, Dalits are confused. Who's taking away our reservation, because anything that they are passionate about or emotionally
you made an important point that, in Bihar, they actually tasted the hard end of the mandal politics. Isn't it, Brijesh? And they don't want to repeat Bihar.
Well, absolutely. As we have been discussing, we discussed several times, unwittingly, the doing away of reservation has become the most important issue, rather the only narrative right now which is being played in 2024 general election. Nobody wanted it, but all of a sudden, because the fact that that 3-4 BJP MPs went on record saying that that we need 400 NDA, abki baar NDA 400 par to to do away with certain reservations and change the constitution and all. Somehow Congress has been able to play this to the gallery, and that is the reason why you see ever since this has raised the momentum, this has taken the required momentum, the BJP has been countering it with the fact that what the Congress wants to do is that they want to take away reservation from the OBC, SC, ST and give it to Muslims. This is something which has worked in the past, but right now, there is no assertion by the Muslim community. Therefore, on the ground, or rather on the play of it, you're not seeing that kind of Hindu-Muslim calibration and recalibration.
Okay. Ajit, can we say that after the two phases, we will play out the entire interview. This is one gamut of it, which I have, which I'm sharing with my viewers. 7:57, the entire interview will be out. You can watch it on News9 Live. It's a fantastic piece of editorial work, the best interview of this season. But Ajit, the Prime Minister coming back on this Wayanad issue, re-emphasizing it again and again, saying, well, they want to give away the reservation to the minorities community. My question is, how did this issue blast into stratosphere like that? There was no narrative, there was no reportage, there was nothing. Why did an issue which was not being reported became the issue?
Well, first of all, let me point out that the Prime Minister is right in terms of the Constitution. In the Constituent Assembly debates, there were two subcommittees, the Fundamental Rights Subcommittee and the Minority Subcommittee, and both of them had discussed the issue of reservation of Muslims, reservation on the basis of religion. It was in 1949, 2 years later, when the partition began, that this entire issue was dropped from the Constituent Assembly debates. So what I'm arguing, Prime Minister is right. Initially, for 2 years, this was an issue in the Constituent Assembly. It was dropped after the partition, number one. Number two, remember October 2nd, 2023, Nitish Kumar, who was then part of the India Alliance, has flagged the issue. He brought out officially the caste survey on Bihar. 7 days later, on October 9th, 2023, Rahul Gandhi jumped on the bandwagon, and he was, of course, advised by people like Yogendra Yadav and others, who basically told him that in order to bring about inequality-based debate, because he was talking of Nyay, an inequality-based debate, talk about caste as well. So upper caste versus OBC plus SC plus ST plus Muslims. He was talking about what we call the 95% versus the 5 or 10%. And it was gelling along with his class struggle line, which was economic inequality, unemployment, inflation, etc., etc. So he had an economic angle and he had a social angle, followed from Nitish Kumar. It also helped him gel with the mandal politics
Okay.
of Akhilesh Yadav in UP, of Lalu and his son in Bihar. And that's why we see Congress, a new resurgent Rahul Gandhi playing a different tune, one of class struggle, one of caste-based survey, and in which
Okay.
Muslims would be part of the so-called sections which would
Actually,
end
you have
up
touched a point of a different debate, which all of us would be doing after 7:30. I don't know how resurgent Rahul Gandhi is. I don't know whether he's going to file his papers from Amethi or not. Contradictory reports have started to come into our system. Few people are saying that, online form has been taken. Some people are saying that he's not going to file nomination, but the entire family is going to be there. But, that's a mystery we're going to resolve after 7:30. But to you, Banu, is this election, like 2019 election, is going to be a single issue election? 2014, na khaunga na khane dunga. 2019 was from Congress, Chaukidar Chor hai, and Rafale, and the Prime Minister said, well, the whole campaign was launched, main bhi Chaukidar. And the Balakot happened, which is primarily nationalism. Is this going down the wire on reservation?
So I think when the election started, I think nobody would have anticipated it. Even when I was traveling, people were talking about rations and development, and even the Prime Minister and other BJP campaigners were speaking mostly in development. I think the trigger happened, according to me, when Priyanka Gandhi said that the BJP is attempting to change the constitutions and they will take away the reservations. I think that was the trigger. And then the hell broke loose. Then Prime Minister started weaving a story with so many data points from what the Congress said in its manifesto in terms of Ginti, what Prime Minister Manmohan Singh said in 2005 or 6, and then Karnataka and Andhra's attempts to provide reservations for Muslims. And also, I think he was weaving a story. And I think it is finding resonance. Given the fact that the voting percentage is right, I think these emotional issues will bring people back to vote. It's basically a get out the vote operation. So this is a long election campaign, Kartikeyan. So I think we have what, 5,
right,
6,
yeah.
5 more
You're
weeks,
kind of right, Banu. The ferocity of response actually tells you how deeply this issue has touched the various segments, or how seriously BJP has taken this charge. There's an AI element, there's an FIR now, but the issue is deep. Now let me take you to the second bite. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke on the issue of Pran Pratishtha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed this issue, and let me read that out to you. Prime Minister said, opposition, and he criticized them for declining the Ram Mandir invite and scoffed at their charge, which termed the Pran Pratishtha as a BJP event. He also said that Bhagwan Ram belongs to every Indian.
प्रभु राम को ये इतनी कम सामर्थ्यवान मानते हैं क्या? मतलब इनको इतना नॉलेज नहीं है, परम पिता परमेश्वर पर कोई अधिकार कर सकता है क्या? प्रभु राम कितना महान व्यक्तित्व, और एक पार्टी मामूली छोटी सी बीजेपी पार्टी प्रभु राम के सामने कुछ नहीं है भाई। ये लोग कैसी बात करते हैं? सचमुच में तो प्रभु राम उनके भी होने चाहिए, सबके होने चाहिए जी। इस पर किसी का मालिकी हक नहीं हो सकता है जी। ये सोच ही तो है जो, लेकिन ये वो क्यों बोलते हैं? उनका हिडन एजेंडा जो है ना, उस पर पर्दा लगाने के लिए ऐसे बातें बोल रहे हैं। उनका हिडन एजेंडा है उनकी वोट बैंक को संभालना, उनकी वोट बैंक को संभालना, और इसलिए वे इस प्रकार की बहानेबाजी कर रहे हैं। उनको लगता था कि जो राम मंदिर गए तो वोट बैंक गई।
So this is the jharoka of the interview I have given. I am not going to play out any more bites. The interview will start playing at 7:57. It will go right till 9:30. Prime Minister spoke on multiple issues, from the constitution of this country to reservation to Wayanad to Telangana. He even said that the governments in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are being used as ATMs. He has spoken on the Labharti issue. But most important of all, Prime Minister is also setting the template, and I'll come to it. Sunita, you know, Prime Minister has also used a word, I'll play out the bite later, but he used the word vote jihad, land jihad. You know, this has become central to his campaign. So am I to say there is a shift from guarantee to certain issues which really get their voters out, core voters out? Sunita.
Karthikeyan, I don't know why this was the word that was used by one person and Prime Minister picked it up, because right now the discourse is on Hindu-Muslim politics, and this jihad word, you know, the vote jihad was seen as, you know, against BJP, come together and vote against BJP. I don't know why, you know, usually the BJP used to set the agenda and the opposition used to be on the defensive. Right now, like you said, you were talking about constitution. You think that it was a very big issue amongst Dalits. If you went to Bastis, if there was any issue that they were talking about, was Ambedkar and constitution. So he reacted to it. Now, somehow, I don't know where the guarantees have gone, where the manifestos have gone. Nobody has read it. Some people who have read it has not found what has been discussed, talked about. History is being raked up. The election is not going on issues which concern me and you immediately. As for the temple that you talked about, I think it was very clear that from very beginning it was BJP's issue. They kept on saying it's a matter of faith, but they gained from it, and Congress lost its whatever political strength it had in the country. Now, going for a Pran Pratishtha could be a personal decision, a political decision. It's not such a big issue, you know, the way it was organized. So I don't think so.
You know, Sunita, it can be, you know, Sunita, it can, you know, ethics and public propriety and morality also changes. I'll come to, you want to say something, Brijesh? I have a question and I'm putting it to everyone. You can have your pick on it. You know, sometimes certain virtues and values are privileged. At a point of time when you know, we were independent, there was certain privilege being given to, you know, yes, I am secular. I keep my faith at a minimal level. I don't celebrate it in public. But I think there is a different template in politics where it's perfectly okay and normal to celebrate your faith in public. And it's perfectly okay to celebrate cultural nationalism. So if you say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, no one will say you are Sanghi, because half of the Indians are now saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So there's a shift. That's a broad question to all of you, but you wanted to come in first.
I'm saying that, you know, it may be, I may be pilloried for saying this but I think, you know, the Congress didn't do much wrong by not going to Pran Pratishtha. You know, you may say that, you know, that they will lose votes or they would not gotten votes in Uttar Pradesh and all. They have spent force in Uttar Pradesh. So I don't see anybody who was saying that, you know, had they gone to Pran Pratishtha, they would have gotten 10 or 15, you know, seats and all. Second thing is, irrespective of what the Prime Minister says, irrespective of what the BJP says, irrespective of what anybody says, the fact of the matter still remains that it was a BJP issue. It was the entire organization was, the event was organized, and it was a BJP organized event, whether you like it or you don't like it. Where the Prime Minister was the central character, which again was a given thing.
I think because VHP organized
VHP is you know the difference, the connection between VHP, BJP,
it's a frontal organization.
It's a frontal organization. So I'm saying, and the Prime Minister was bound to play a key and central role in that, because that Ram Janmabhoomi agitation was a BJP agitation, VHP agitation.
So you are saying
the Congress would not want to be seen in that particular event and, you know, lose the other side minority votes which otherwise would have stuck to them.
Okay, Ajit?
You know, your question is actually contains the answer. Very intelligent question, what you said. See, Prime Minister Modi is the #1 psephologist of this country. He understands elections better than anyone. He saw the dip in the first phase and the second phase of elections. And he realized that the normal turnout is there, but the mobilized vote of the core voters of the BJP, which happened massively in 2014 and 2019, has maybe reduced somewhat, 5%, 6%, according to the latest figures of the Election Commission. And then what he did, which he is very good at, he played the rhetoric of the Ram temple. He played the rhetoric of what we call, the Hindu-Muslim card in a way. And he said Congress's constitution is like that of the Muslim League. And then he went ahead and he brought the issue of the Pran Pratishtha. And that hopefully will recharge his core voters, the so-called Bajrang Dal guys, or the guys who manage, the booths, the various booths managed by the cadre. That will bring up the turnout, hopefully in the next 5 phases. So that is a calculated move by the Prime Minister to basically inspire the entire Sangh brotherhood to come and vote in a massive way. So that is what he was attempting.
Okay, Bhanu?
I agree with what you said, Karthikeya, that the Overton window of the Indian cultural space and the political space has shifted more towards the right. People are more expressive about their culture, about their country, and so on. And another thing that has changed is the way the information cycle. It is extremely quick, and people keep moving on to other issues. Right? For example, Ayodhya would in previous elections would have been a slam dunk, and people would have actually recalled it and voted for it. Now the Prime Minister himself has to recall it and repeat it again and again, so that it gets ingrained in people's minds. So I think, like I was saying, it's a long political campaign. I think politicians will pick and choose a lot of issues, and the Congress is also not smart by saying things like vote jihad and all that, right? So I think it's providing fuel to the narrative that the BJP is setting. Well, one last point is, all of this matter in terms of reservation, in terms of vote jihad, and all of this can come to an end if Congress comes out and says that there is not going to be any reservation for Muslims. Why are they not coming out and saying it? That is where the big question is.
Okay. So before I move any further, let me play out the bite of the Prime Minister. It is not part of the interview, but I think it's very important. It's very important. Let's play that bite out.
अब इंडी गठबंधन ने मुसलमानों से वोट जिहाद करने को कहा है। अब बताइए, हमने लव जिहाद सुना था, लैंड जिहाद सुना था, और वोट जिहाद, और वो भी पढ़े लिखे मुसलमान के परिवार से बात आई है। सामान्य मदरसा से निकले हुए किसी बच्चे ने नहीं कहा है। हाईली क्वालिफाइड फैमिली और कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ पद पर बैठे हुए परिवार, ये मुसलमान परिवार ने कहा है, नारा दिया है वोट जिहाद करो। आप जानते हैं ना जिहाद का मतलब क्या होता है? जिहाद किसके खिलाफ किया जाता है? इंडी गठबंधन का साफ कहना है कि सारे मुसलमानों को एकजुट होकर वोट देना चाहिए। इंडी गठबंधन ने लोकतंत्र के उत्सव में वोट जिहाद की बात करके लोकतंत्र का भी अपमान किया है, संविधान का भी अपमान किया है। और कांग्रेस के एक ने भी नेता ने अभी तक इसका विरोध नहीं किया है, मौक सम्मति दे दी है। ये वोट जिहाद की बात भी कांग्रेस की तुष्टीकरण की नीति को ही आगे बढ़ाती है। एक तरफ इंडी गठबंधन एसटी, एससी, ओबीसी सामान्य वर्ग को बांटने में जुटा है, और दूसरी तरफ वोट जिहाद का नारा लगा रहा है। आज समझ सकते हैं कि इंडी गठबंधन के इरादे कितने खतरनाक है।
Before I end this part of the show, I'll take a quick response from Ajit. Ajit, the Labharti program of the Bharatiya Janata Party of Modi ki guarantee is community agnostic. It's shared equally with every community. But the politics has become community specific. In long run, will it be possible for them to balance these two things,
Yes, I think so. Look at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's governance programs. The governance programs, as you rightly said, are completely sabka saath, sabka vikas. Absolutely done with precision. The delivery is brilliant, and no one can say that it is targeted towards one community. But when it comes to elections, the rhetoric of elections, Prime Minister realizes that to cut the agenda of Congress, to cut the agenda of the India Alliance, you need to reset the BJP agenda, and therefore the stress on Pran Pratishtha, on Article 370, on now Vote Jihad, that the Congress manifesto is Muslim League manifesto. All that is slanted because, as in the US elections, for example, we say this is the silly season of politics, right? Where you talk of rhetoric, you do negative campaign against your opponent, and negative campaign always helps in elections, unfortunately. So Prime Minister is very aware of that. So you will see when he comes back for the third time, his governance program will be totally devoid of any of this rhetoric. And there you will see again the same Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So I think that way Prime Minister Modi knows how to balance one. At the point of the election, he sort of biases one. At the other end, during governance, he does exactly the opposite. I think he's brilliant at remixing the two.
But I would say that, this balancing act does have the inner potential to go awry, because it's not always possible to balance these issues. And the Prime Minister himself has spoken on now vote jihad. And this vote jihad, let me put this in context, Salman Khurshid's constituency, he was campaigning in that area, and if I'm not wrong, Maria Alam Khan was there, was part of a larger family network, and she used the word. She has given a disclaimer saying that jihad is the inner struggle, but the fact of the matter is she did use the word, and in popular narrative the jihad stands for a different thing altogether globally. You might have a literal textual explanation of it, but that doesn't cut any ice in Indian politics when you know in what context jihad is being used globally. So this was on point number one. Now on point number two is on Rahul Gandhi may contest from Amethi in 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Now tomorrow is the last day, Friday, but he hasn't filed his nomination. So is it going to be Smriti Irani versus Rahul Gandhi? We'll have to wait and watch.
Forty countries, 1,000 multilingual bookstalls, 1.25 lakh people, one destination, the New Delhi World Book Fair 2024.
So it's a great honour to be here. Thank you to the National Book Trust and those that have embraced us over recent days.
I was at the London Book Fair once and I had not participated here, but this fair is an ocean and it's beautiful.
This should be your annual spring picnic.
Through the power of knowledge, we are going to create responsible citizens with global skills and also global responsibility.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.